All right, let's do this AP multiple choice, which will be about the chain rule. So this problem's kind of interesting. It says h of x is sine of 3x, find the 99th derivative. So we're obviously not going to find 99 derivatives. We're going to do a few and look for a pattern. So let's kind of remind ourselves a little bit how the derivatives of sine and cosine work. This will be helpful later. So like we have sine, its derivative is cosine. So this will be like a derivative wheel or something. Its derivative is negative sine. And then that's the derivative of negative sine is negative cosine. And the derivative of negative cosine is back there. So we'll just keep that up as a reference. All right, so we have h of x is sine of 3x. We could even call that the 0th derivative. That's a term often used. The first derivative would be cosine of 3x, and then by the chain rule times 3. So that's 3 to the 1 cosine of 3x. And I'm writing it to the 1 because I'm just noticing exponents are going to seem to matter if you look at the answer choices. The second derivative would be 3. Now the derivative of cosine is negative sine, and then the chain rule spits out another 3. And so I want to write this as negative 3 squared sine of 3x. Okay, and then my third derivative would be, so I have a negative 3 squared. Derivative of sine is cosine. Try to ignore my dog. And then times a 3 by the chain rule. So I get negative 3 cubed cosine of 3x. Let's do one more. So negative 3 cubed. The derivative of cosine is negative sine of 3x, and then times another 3 by the chain rule. So I get negative 3 to the 4th. No, I get positive 3 to the 4th because then two negatives will cancel. Sine of 3x. All right, so let's take a look at some patterns here. First of all, let's see if we can figure out whether the answer is going to be sine or cosine. And we can do that by noting that, so again, this was like my 0th derivative. I'll even put that in there. Like, there's my 0th derivative. So my 0th derivative was sine. I started with sine. The first derivative is cosine. The second derivative was negative sine. The third derivative was cosine. And then the fourth is back to right sine. And then the fifth here. And then the sixth. And then the seventh. And then the 8th. And so like you can kind of look at these numbers and notice that agrees, right? Our first derivative has cosine. The second derivative was sine, etc. And so like the question is like, what are the, is the 99th derivative going to be a cosine or a sine of some sort? And we can tell that the odd numbers are cosine ones, right? The odd derivatives are cosine. So that means it can't be sine or any of the sine choices, right? So that got 3 away. Helped us eliminate 3 right away. So I guess now it's just, are we going to get a positive or a negative? And so let's go see what happens. So our 0th derivative was positive. So let's just put that here. I'll use a different color. So our 0th derivative was positive. Our first derivative here was also positive. Our second derivative, if you look below, was negative. So I'll put a negative here. Our third derivative was negative. And then our fourth derivative was positive again. And then the pattern should repeat, right? I mean, once the pattern goes around once, it's going to repeat. And so then the question is which one of these is 99 going to fit into, right? Well, it's got to be either the it's got to be either the what are the two cosine ones? We've already established that. But is it belong to the 1, 5 camp or the derivatives that are like 3 and 7, etc.? Well, this pattern's kind of giving us the multiples or sort of the remainders of 4 in a way, right? So like at the top of the wheel, we have all multiples of 4. In the first part of the wheel, 1, 5, those are all 1 more than a multiple of 4. And then at the bottom, those are 2 and 6. Those are 2 more than a multiple of 4. And then over here on the left, 3 and 7, those are 3 more than a multiple of 4, which you could also describe as 1 less than a multiple of 4, if you think about it. And so 99 is 1 less than a multiple of 4, right? If you add 1, you get a multiple of 4. So we must be here on the wheel, which tells us that it's a negative, and that tells us that the answer must be D. So That's a thought-provoking question. It brings in a little bit of number theory. But in any case, use elimination to help out, and that can be useful.